After a meeting between President Trump and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping, the U.S. lowered its duties on Beijing, which has encouraged Chinese exporters. However, they are still eager to protect themselves from potential future setbacks in trade relations with the U.S. That is according to a Bloomberg report quoting Chinese exporters and executives.
The deal with China is going to be wonderful. It's going to be long-lasting. I got really along with President Xi very well, as you saw. You were there. Many of you were there. And I think it's great. I think it's great. I think it's really good.
However, Chinese exporters told Bloomberg that they cannot really depend on just access to the largest consumer market in the world. That is largely due to Trump's trade brinkmanship. Manufacturers in China are resolute in their plans to diversify exports to other countries outside the U.S., that is to reduce their exposure and reliance on the U.S. Improving trade relations with the U.S. does not excite Chinese exporters anymore. American retailers are also not inclined to rethink their plans to relocate supply chains out of China. However, the one-year truce gives both parties time to reassess and work on their plans. Huang Lan, sales manager at the Guangzhou-based retailer that sells underwear and yoga pants through online retailers including Amazon.com, Shen and Temu, said, and I quote, "The tariff cut buys us more time." The sales manager added, "Shifting away from the U.S. is the only way to reduce trade risks for the long term." While the broader theme after the Trump-Xi meeting was a one-year truce, there were gaps between what the U.S. and China said about the summit compared to the specific details provided by officials in the Trump administration. China's remarks were more broad-based. For example, Trump said that China had agreed to immediately begin purchasing massive amounts of soybeans, sorghum, and other farm products. U.S. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins said that Beijing had committed to buying at least 87 million tons of U.S. soybeans over the next few years. However, the Chinese statement simply read, "A consensus was reached on expanding agricultural trade." In some cases, the remarks did not line up, and in others, like the U.S. TikTok deal, many specifics are still not clear.